Today we're talking about reading problem solution texts. Problem solution pieces can be fiction or they can be nonfiction. Today we're going to take a look at a fiction video, and for your assignment you're going to read a nonfiction text. So there's three big ideas when it comes to reading problem solution texts. So the first is it explains the problem in the world and it gives possible solutions. The next is that it sometimes argues for the best solution. There might be lots of different things that are tried to solve the problem. It might show you some that don't work, and it might show you what will work. The tricky thing about it too is sometimes the problem hasn't been solved yet, so all of the solutions that have been presented in the problem solution piece may not actually solve the problem. The last thing to think about is a problem solution text usually combines facts and opinions, so you need to be a critical reader. You have to sort out what's the truth and what is something that the author believes could be important that isn't based on fact or something that can be observed. Now we're going to take a look at a short film and then talk about the problems and the solutions that our characters come up with. So now that we've seen how our story plays out, let's practice and talk about what's our actual problem and what are some solutions, successful and not. We don't have any characters' names in this short film, so we'll call them Mr. and Miss Chameleon. Our problem starts off right away at the beginning, when Mr. Chameleon goes to talk to Miss Chameleon. Each time he wants to ask her to dance, he gets nervous and he ends up blending in with the surroundings. Mr. Chameleon's first idea for a solution is to spell out dance on the food table. Unfortunately, it doesn't work because he uses bugs and they crawl around. This then makes Miss Chameleon just think that it was a snack on the table, and she ends up eating his invitation. He decides that maybe he does have to be brave and ask her on his own. Unfortunately, when he decides to come up behind her and ask, he accidentally steps on her tail. This causes her to scream, he panics again, and he ends up leaving the situation. His next idea is maybe just hop in a picture with her. If he does that, then she'll know he exists, he can be brave then, and he can ask her to dance. He panics though, and this is when things backfire and he's invisible in the picture now. The last thing that works for Mr. Chameleon is just being brave and going out on the dance floor and dancing with her. Unfortunately, it scares her at first, but as he gets confident, he ends up being visible to her, he stops blending in with his surroundings, and things finally click for Mr. Chameleon and Miss Chameleon. So thinking about this, our problem is that he's afraid to ask Miss Chameleon to dance with him. The best solution that he comes up with is to be brave and to just start dancing with her. So now we can make that inference. What did he learn by doing this? He learned that if you're brave and take chances, good things can happen because Mr. Chameleon ended up getting a date with Miss Chameleon. So now that we've talked about our example, let's talk about your assignment and what you need to do so you can turn in your work for today.
When you open up this assignment, you're going to see the story in 3 separate chunks. So if you decide to listen to the audio while you're reading this, realize that you're going to have to pause at a couple different times in order to get through this. So you'll have 3 different reports, and like it says right here, report 1, a garden in Lawndale. You'll read through this. There's a question at the bottom in bold. You'll type in your answer, and then you'll go to the next question. Pay attention to the headings. Report 1, question 2 is going with that same story. You're going to be looking for your problem solution, and you'll be looking for your inference, just like we did in our short video today. By the time you get to question 3, our article is changing. You can resume that audio if you paused it. We're now to report 2. You'll see there are 2 questions with report 2, and then you'll go into report 3. You'll have a question for report 3. And notice with all of these, you have your questions in bold at the bottom. By the time you get to the very last question, you're going to see all 3 reports together. And when you get to the very bottom, there's a multiple choice question that goes with it. So if you have any questions, remember your teachers are here. You can email us, you can check in with us, and you can get this taken care of for today. Good luck.